I wasn't looking for anything specific when I found it. Just another night spent aimlessly clicking through dark web marketplaces, searching for the bizarre and unexplained. I had always been fascinated by the strange corners of the internet, the hidden places where reality blurred into something else. That's when I saw the listing. No title, no description, just an Imago-worn, leather-bound book with a symbol carved into the cover, a spiral looping endlessly inward. The seller's name was simply Caretaker, and the only text in the description was a warning. Do not read aloud. Do not read after midnight. Do not let it read itself. It was obviously a gimmick, some cryptic horror movie nonsense meant to drive up the price, and yet I couldn't look away. There was something about that book, something wrong. Before I could talk myself out of it, I clicked purchase. It arrived 3 days later, wrapped in plain brown paper. No return address. The book itself was heavier than I expected, the leather cracked with age. It smelled of dust and something faintly metallic. When I flipped through the pages, I saw they were filled with dense, handwritten text. No punctuation, no paragraph breaks, just a continuous stream of words in an unfamiliar language. That first night, I sat at my desk, running my fingers over the strange script. The ink had a faded, reddish tint, like it had been written long ago with something that wasn't meant for writing. I tried searching for translations, but nothing matched. It wasn't Latin, Greek, or any ancient language I could find. That should have been my first warning. I don't know when I fell asleep, but I woke to the sound of whispering. At first, I thought it was coming from outside, the wind slipping through my window, but then I saw it. The book was open. The pages were turning by themselves. I froze, my breath caught in my throat. The whispering grew louder, like dozens of voices speaking at once, overlapping, muttering words I couldn't understand. My eyes locked onto the ink, and for a split second I swore I saw the letters shifting, rearranging themselves. I slammed the book shut. The whispering stopped. I barely slept after that. Every night I placed the book on a shelf, far from my bed, but without fail I'd wake to find it open again. Sometimes just a few pages turned, sometimes flipped all the way to the back. The whispering never lasted long, just enough to jolt me awake, to remind me that it was still there. On the 7th night, I made a mistake. I whispered along. I don't know why I did it. Maybe exhaustion, maybe curiosity, maybe something else. But as the whispers filled the room, my lips moved of their own accord, forming sounds I had never heard before. The moment the last syllable left my mouth, the room went silent. Then my phone buzzed. A notification. No number, just a message. You have been heard. I threw the book into a locked box that night, shoved it into the closet, and tried to pretend it wasn't there. But the messages kept coming. Every night, the same thing. You have been heard. Keep reading. Finish it. The worst part wasn't the messages. It was waking up to find the book back on my desk, open to the last page. And the last page was empty. I stopped sleeping. I stopped answering my phone. The walls of my apartment felt too close, the air too thick. Something was waiting. Then, the final message came. The book is not finished. You are. That night, I heard the whispering again. Louder this time. No longer just words. Laughter. Footsteps. The creak of my closet door opening. I stayed in bed, frozen, my eyes shut tight. But I knew the book was open. And I knew something was reading me. I wanted to run, to get out of my apartment, leave the book behind, and pretend none of this had ever happened. But my body wouldn't move. My limbs felt heavy, as if something was pressing down on me, pinning me to the mattress. The whispering grew clearer. It wasn't coming from the book anymore. It was coming from behind me. My breath caught in my throat. I forced myself to turn my head, just slightly, just enough to see the corner of my room. The closet door was open now, just a crack. but I knew it had been closed when I went to bed. Something was standing there. Not a shadow, not a trick of the light. A figure, tall, thin, barely visible in the darkness, but the outline was unmistakable. It didn't move, it just stood there, watching. The whispers continued, not from the book, not from the figure, but from everywhere. The walls, the ceiling, inside my own head. I screwed my eyes shut. And then, a breath. Not mine. Right next to my ear. I bolted upright, gasping, my body finally able to move. The room was empty. The closet was closed. The book was nowhere in sight. For a moment, I thought it was over. Then I felt it. The weight in my hands. The book. I don't remember picking it up. I don't remember reaching for it. But there it was, the leather cool against my palms, the pages open. And the last page was no longer blank. There was something written there now. One word. Continue. I threw the book across the room and ran. I didn't stop to pack, didn't stop to think. I just grabbed my car keys and left, driving through the empty streets until I was far from my apartment, from the book, from whatever was inside it. I checked into a motel an hour away, didn't turn on the lights, didn't turn on my phone, just sat on the bed, staring at the door, trying to convince myself that I was safe. Then the knock came. Soft, 3 times. I held my breath, listening. Another knock. Then something slid under the door. A single piece of paper. I didn't want to pick it up. I already knew what it would say. I picked it up anyway. You cannot run from a story that is still being written. I left that night, crossed the state line, deleted my accounts, changed my number, found a new place, a new name. For months, nothing happened. No messages, no whispering, no book. Then, last night, I came home to find something waiting on my doorstep. A package. No return address. Wrapped in plain brown paper. It was heavier than I remembered. My hands shook as I picked up the package. The weight of it was unmistakable. I already knew what was inside. I wanted to throw it away, burn it. Leave it there and never look back. But something inside me, something I couldn't explain, made me carry it inside. I placed it on the table, staring at it, willing myself not to open it. Then my phone buzzed. A message. Finish it. I don't know how long I sat there, staring at those words. My heartbeat was loud in my ears, my breath shallow. I knew what it wanted. I knew that the book wasn't done with me. Slowly, I peeled away the paper. The leather cover was the same. The spiral symbol, deep and dark, seemed more pronounced, like it had been burned into the skin of the book itself. I traced it with my fingertips, feeling something pulse beneath the surface, like a heartbeat. I shouldn't have opened it. The pages flipped on their own, stopping at the last one. It was still writing itself. Letter by letter, words appeared on the paper, ink sinking into the page like something alive. My name was the first thing I saw, then my location, then the final sentence. The story ends when you do. I slammed the book shut, but I already knew the truth. I was never meant to read it. It was meant to read me. I stared at the book, my breath shallow, my pulse hammering in my ears. I wanted to believe it was over, that closing it would somehow break whatever had started the moment I brought it into my life. But the wispy. Some nights, I wake up to find the book on my nightstand, even though I know I locked it away. Some nights, I hear soft pages turning in the darkness. And some nights, I see a shadow standing just beyond the edge. Maybe it's just my imagination. Maybe I let fear take over. Or maybe the story isn't over yet. Was this tale real, or just another dark web mystery? Let me know in the comments. If you love chilling stories, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more. But remember, some stories aren't meant to stay unfinished.